Hi, everybody. Hey, hey. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Hi. Hey, YouTube fam. Hi, Mary. Hi, Ruby. Hi, Anita. How y'all doing? Everybody having a good week so far? Oh, Cecilia says this necklace looks beautiful. Thank you, Cecilia. It's a fun one. It's got a little cha-cha to it. You know, I love that. Waiting on Facebook to get in the house, and then we are going to get started, you guys. I have such a pretty pendant to show you. Cannot wait. There's Facebook. Hey, guys. Hey. All right, now everybody's in the house, so we can get started, right? Hi, Gwen. Hi, Bonnie. All right, you guys. So let's talk about what we're doing today. Okay, we're going to put together a necklace, and if you've seen the preview picture, you kind of know what it is that we're working on. But we're going to be putting together a 2-strand necklace design that is going to feature a Preciosa crystal from Sam's Bead Shop. Now, listen, all of the beads that are in today's project you can get from Sam's Bead Shop. There's in the materials section. Actually, in the about section of this video, I guess. It's weird because we stream to a bunch of different places. But in the about section where the materials list is, there are links so you can go straight over to Sam's Bead Shop. Like if you want to shop this necklace and you're looking for the beads that are specifically from this, it's all been grouped together over on Sam's Bead Shop's website. So it's really easy to shop this. I'm gonna point out all of the beads for you guys. And Jesse's here. Jesse can show you just as well. My team is here as well. Hello, Nicole. Colleen is here. Kathy's here. Colleen's actually right here, like literally right here. she's like right there. So yeah, we've got everybody dropping links, so that makes it super easy for you to shop if you want to check out all of the beads that are in the show. But the Preciosa crystal is probably the main focal and the super fancy part of this necklace, right? So, anything else I need to tell you guys before we get started? Is there something going on? Hardwired is still open for enrollment this week. That's probably the biggest thing. So if you are interested in being a member of Hardwired, which is my paid Facebook group where we do projects that are a little bit harder than what we do here in the regular community, and we kind of focus on wire wrapping and wire weaving, though we do other things. The Hardwired group is open for enrollment. That happens once a month. It usually falls the last week of the month into the first week of the new month. So we are open for enrollment right now. All you got to do is head over to the Hardwired Facebook group and apply to be a member of the group. From that point, you're going to get some questions, and if you will answer all of those questions, then we can get you rocking and rolling. That's how we know how to invoice you. You can pay to be part of the group either monthly or quarterly. You do get a discount if you pay for the quarterly option. However, I will tell you that membership access to the group is super affordable regardless of which direction you go as far as your billing is concerned. It is an amazing community. It's much smaller, so we have really kind of established a really strong bond with each other there. We work hard, we play hard, we have a whole lot of fun. If you are interested in upping your jewelry making skills, it's definitely worth it. So definitely come hang out with us, be part of the Hardwired group. We have a lot of fun there, and like I said, we make some really awesome things. So definitely want you to come and hang out if you're interested at all. Anything else? I can't really think of anything. I don't think there's any other news right off of the top of my head, other than just, of course, our Feel Good Friday show happens at 1 p.m. on Fridays, and Master Maker happens at 4 p.m. on Fridays. So just set your reminders for those things as well. And yeah, let's get started with today's project, shall we? I've got beautiful, beautiful purple things. Lots of purple in the show today. So if you like purple, you are in the right place. I'm going to turn you guys around, and we are going to get started. I'm going to hand the robot over to you. Here, would you like a robot?
I would, thank you.
All right, let me turn on some more lights here too. So I feel like we need a little extra. Hold on, y'all. I know that you're not looking at anything yet. Hold on. All right, there we go. All right, brighten things up just a little bit. And we are going to get started. So let me show you guys. Look how pretty. Okay, listen, I got to wipe it off. It has my fingerprints all over it. I'm going to wipe it off. Look at the gorgeousness that I have in my hand. So this is one of the amazing Preciosa crystals that is available over at Sam's Bead Shop. This one is the one that we're going to use for our project today. And you can see this one is double drilled. So there's a hole at the top, hole at the bottom. It's got the beautiful facets all the way around. It is faceted on the back as well. So it's not a flat back, right? It is faceted all the way around. It's got that beautiful purpley blue kind of shift to it. So pretty, so pretty. So that's going to be the focal of our necklace for the day. But I also have some other beads that I'm going to show you that are also available. So the beads that we're using to build the necklace around this are also available over in Sam's Bead Shop. So these Czech glass fire polish beads, we're going to use some of these. They also have that beautiful kind of shift to them that you can see. So pretty. So we've got some of those. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get you like the actual, let me tell you the real words. Let me give you the real words. Let's see. What did I do with those? Okay. So these are the Czech fire polish faceted rounds in clear crystal. Okay, so we're going to be using some of those. We're also going to be using a few of these, which I absolutely love. Look at these. So there's only actually 3 in this design today, but I could use a bazillion of them. They're exactly the same as the crystal. Look at that color, right? So it's still that purpley blue. So these are the glass textured flat pear brios. Remember we were talking about this, I think it was last week, we were talking about the brios because I had used them in something else, and I was saying that Sam's got a bunch of these in different colors over in his shop. These are probably my favorites. There are some really amazing colors, but I really am loving this like purpley blue. Really pretty. So we're gonna use a couple of those in the design. I've got some fancy faceted glass, Czech glass, in this really pretty lavender color. I've got a couple more things that are also in this color, but you can see those have a really beautiful facet to them. I've got some heishi beads that are also in that really pretty color. All right. So pretty. So pretty. And then let's see. Is that it? I think that's all I used for the design. I had other beads to show you though. Just wanted to give you just a little quick peek because Sam had sent me several beads to play with. And I didn't use any of these, but I thought they were super cute. And since Mother's Day is coming up, I wanted to share these with you guys too. They're just some little purple lavender hearts. They're also Czech glass. I didn't use any in today's design, but they're super cute and definitely worth being like, I want you guys to see those because they're so cutie patootie. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to show you what this design is going to look like. So we're going to do kind of a double strand look in the front. This is going to be, of course, our focal. And from the focal, we're going to build out a cluster because you guys know I love like that cha-cha cluster. So we're going to build out a cluster using some of the fire polish rounds and then also some of these faceted purple ones. So we're going to do a little cluster, and then we're going to do 2 strands, and we're going to bring that together. For the length of this necklace, I'm just using some suede and a couple of these textured rings from TierraCast. By the way, you can grab these also over in Sam's Bead Shop. So Sam is a great place to stop and shop for TierraCast, which is one of my very favorite when it comes to metals. So if you're looking for cool TierraCast components, definitely want to check out that section on Sam's Bead Shop. So using some of these, I'll show you how this all goes together, but let's build our cluster first. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to decide how many beads we're going to put in our cluster. Now this is going to be hanging from our pendant here. And normally with a cluster, we've done these together, I will build from the bottom up, right? I'll start with a single bead and then I will start adding beads in groups of 2, right? And a lot of these are already wire wrapped and ready to go. We are going to do a couple of them together. So we're going to do 2 more of those, and then we're going to switch up and go into the purple. So our cluster is going to be we're going to start with the smaller beads and get a little bit bigger. And all of this is linked together with some jump rings. So, excuse me, let's grab some head pins and do a little bit of wire wrapping, and then we'll start to put this all together. Okay. All right, so I'm just using some head pins. You can cut your own wire if you want to. It's totally up to you, but I'm going to take each one of my beads and I'm going to thread those onto a head pin and I'm going to do a wrapped loop. Now, if you want to do a simple loop instead of a wrapped loop, you absolutely can. Totally up to you, right? I'm going to grab the wire right where it is exiting the bead, bend it over the top of the pliers, and I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers. Okay, we're going up and over. Rotate the pliers, take the wire over to the other side, and then we're going to wire wrap in that space. So you're going to do that to each one of your beads. And listen, your cluster can be as thick or as long as you want it to be. The more beads, obviously the thicker the cluster is going to be, and of course the longer it's going to be as well. You can actually double your cluster up. So I just use 2 beads per level, but you could actually double that up and make it like 4 beads per level, or even 5 or 6 beads per level. That's really going to make it nice and full, right? So all of those things are going to come into play just when you're kind of deciding how you want your cluster to look. Donna says, what is my head pin, my go-to head pin for wire wrapping? I prefer the 22 gauge head pins from Bead. However, if for some reason I cannot get my hands on those, I really, really like just the store brand from Fire Mountain Gems, or any of the TierraCast. So those are really kind of my top 3. So Bead, Fire Mountain Gems, and TierraCast is really, those in my opinion are the most dependable as far as quality. You know, I very rarely get a dud. It happens with everybody and everything. I mean, sometimes you just get a bad batch, but for the most part, they're the best. All right, so building this up some. And I want to see, I don't remember how many. I think I did a whole nother level of the purple. So we'll do 2 more. Let's wire wrap 2 more of these. And then we're going to just use some jump rings, right, to put all of this together. And we're going to hang it from this. So laying flat, it doesn't quite do it justice, right? But you do kind of get an idea of how it is all going to go together. All right, so another wrapped loop here. The wire over the top of the pliers. Coming in with the round nose pliers, up and over, rotate, take the wire over to the other side, and wire wrap. Come in with your cutter tool, trim off. And then 1 more. Excuse me. Goodness, something caught in my throat. Sparkly goodness indeed. I'm all about the sparkle. That's why when Sam said he was getting Preciosa crystals, I was like, sign me up. Sign me up. I want some of that. All right, so now I've laid all of this out, right? And we're going to use some jump rings here to put all of this together, okay? And the way that you put this together is really kind of important. It's not hard, but you do need to kind of pay attention to what you're doing. So I'm going to walk you through this. Okay, we're going to start out with one jump ring. Now listen, depending on how tightly packed you want your cluster of beads to be, is going to depend on what size jump ring you choose. Okay. Originally, I had done this with a 4mm jump ring, and I just didn't like the look of it. I wanted there to be a little bit more spacing between my beads. So I switched from a 4mm jump ring to a 6mm jump ring. That is going to really kind of change the way it looks. So play around with it a little bit, right? If you want more of a long, elongated kind of beaded bunch of beads, then go with a 6mm or even an 8mm. It's going to give you nice spacing between everything. But if you want it to be like a cluster of grapes, maybe go with a smaller jump ring. A 5mm, a 4mm, or even a 3mm is going to really keep all of your beads nice and tight together, right? It's going to give you a totally different look. All right, so we're going to open up a jump ring, and I'm going to thread on one bead on the bottom. That always is a good look as far as I'm concerned, though you don't have to do that single bead on the bottom. I just kind of like it because it comes down to a point, right? All right, so I'm going to close that jump ring. I'm going to bring in another jump ring. Okay. Open that jump ring, and I'm going to thread that jump ring onto the jump ring that we just added. Now, what I want to do is I want one bead per side of the jump ring. And what that's going to do is it's going to make a bead hang on either side of the bead that we just added, right? And that's super important to keep everything balanced. So there's a bead on that side, and then a bead on the other side, right? And then I'm going to close that, and you can see how that spaces things out evenly, right? Now, when you bring in the next jump ring, it's also important that it stays between those two beads, right? Because and the reason that I point all that out seems like kind of common sense, but what happens is that when you lay this down on your table to pick up what's next, sometimes you lose that spot. And if you lose that spot and you misplace the jump ring, things are going to be a little off, right? So next jump ring, I'm just going to hook that on, and then a bead on either side. Okay. Close that back, and you can see, keeping everything nice and balanced, right? Because we've got one on either side. But you can see how easily that can get lost when you put it down on the table. But you got to be able to use both hands, to open and close your jump ring. So it's kind of no way around it, really, right? And then a jump ring on a bead on either side again. All right, now we're going to step this up. We're going to put the bigger beads on. So again, excuse me, it's just a design choice as far as how you want this to be. If you want the smaller beads on the bottom, right, then it's a cluster that's bigger and gets smaller as it goes. Or you can do this vice versa, and you can put the larger beads on the bottom and the smaller beads on the top, right? It's going to give you a completely different look. So play around with it, right? Play around and see what you like the best. Either way, it looks really cool. All right, so I'm picking it up, and now I'm going to move on to one of the larger beads, and I want to do it exactly the same way. Don't change anything up. You want one bead on either side. Close. Bring in another jump ring. Yeah, you absolutely could open all your jump rings up ahead of time. That would definitely make it a lot easier and keep you from having to put everything back down on the table, for sure. For sure. All right. You can see, just trying to keep everything as even as possible. It's getting a little crowded. It's just a little harder to tell. Okay. All right, so now we've got this really cool beaded cluster, which I know is hard for you to see just because of the angle that you're at. And when I lay it down, it looks like a hot mess, but just take my word for it. It looks great. All right, now we're going to add a jump ring here. And with that jump ring, we're going to attach our dangles. So I'm going to open this up. And let's go through the pendant first. So the jump ring that I'm using to go through this is an 8mm jump ring, by the way. It's nice and big, so it's going to clear the edge of the pendant. and then threading on my cluster. Close that back. Look how pretty. Now listen, I would wear that as an earring because I'm crazy like that. Like the bigger the better, right? I would rock that as an earring 100%. But we're going to make a necklace out of it because not everybody feels the way that I do about that. Might be a little much for some people. I get it. I get it. All right. We are going to go ahead, though, and put another one of those 8mm jump rings up here at the top just so that it's ready when we start to build everything out. Okay. So let's go ahead and add one of those to the top. Uh-oh. I need to plug in. Something's come unplugged. Can y'all hold on for a second? For some reason, it should still be plugged in. Why is it saying that I'm not plugged in? That's weird.
It is weird.
Let's flip it around.
Blow on it. Put it back.
Well, it says we're charging, but like we're down to 8%. I don't understand why. I'm gonna hope that we don't lose
The people.
Yeah, I don't want to lose the people. Okay, we're charging. We should be good. Okay, sorry, y'all. Appreciate your patience there. Okay, so we've got this is ready, right? We've got our cluster. It's ready to go. Now we're going to build our 2 strands for our necklace, and we're going to build that with some of these beautiful beads. And we're going to do 2 strands. We're going to use another large jump ring here in the center. Okay, and we're going to build outwards from here. So one side is already done. I want to show you what it is, and then we're going to put together. So we're just alternating those beautiful Czech glass beads, right? The smaller rounds and then those fancy ones. And we're doing what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those, and then some of these heishi beads at the top. Okay, so that's going to be the bottom strand of our necklace. Okay, so we're going to build that over here, and some of it's already ready just to save us some time. So we're going to add purple bead and one of the Czech beads, the smaller Czech beads, and then the heishis, right? And that's going to go over here on the other side. I was just laying it here so we could be sure we knew what the pattern was going to be. Okay. All right. So we're going to use eye pins for this. Now listen, I'm using prefab eye pins. I know some of y'all do not like that, and I totally get it. If you don't like pre-made eye pins, you can just cut some of your own wire. You're only going to need wire in like 2.5 to 3 inch pieces, right? But if you're going to use a prefab eye pins, you're just going to open up the eye pin, assuming that you've already got one ready. You're going to attach that. I like to attach them as I go before adding the bead to them. That way I don't have to open up that eye next to a bead, if that makes sense. All right, I'm going to thread on my next bead here, and then I'm going to do just a simple loop. So I'm not going to bend the wire over the top of the pliers. I am going to bend the wire as it exits the bead. All right. I'm going to come in with my cutter tool. You're going to leave yourself about 1/4 of an inch of wire. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but I usually use my finger to measure. Now, not everybody's finger measurements are going to be exactly the same, but to kind of eyeball it, to give myself about 1/4 of an inch, I usually put that cutter tool right up against my finger, right? And that distance in there, that's pretty close to 1/4 of an inch. Not every single time. Sometimes it's off. Sometimes it's not quite right, but it's just kind of a good rule of thumb. Oh, and then we're just going to use our round nose pliers to roll back to close our loop. Okay. I'm going to bring in another eye pin. Susie says it's not even spring here in southeastern Wisconsin. Listen, here in Tennessee, it's going to be 80 degrees today. Like, we skipped spring altogether and just went straight to summer. And I'm not ready for it.
No.
I'm not a fan. Not a fan. All right. All right. So another simple loop, bending the wire where it is exiting the bead, coming in with my cutter tool, going to trim off, leave myself about 1/4 of an inch of wire. using my round nose pliers to roll back to close up my loop. And we're going to do one more. So Marley Beth has a question. It's a good question. So she says, does it matter which direction the loop on either end of the beads is going to make them hang better? So really kind of depends on the design, honestly. So when I'm making a beaded chain like this, it really doesn't make any difference whatsoever. But where it does matter is going to be when you're attaching this to something like an ear wire, or if it's going to be hanging vertically, right? And your attachment needs to be facing towards you. Then it's good. Then that's really where it kind of matters. So honestly, it's really just kind of project specific. So, but for something like this with a beaded chain, no, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. All right, so there's our loop. All right, so we've got the bottom chains for our necklace, okay? Now the next level up for this is going to be these three. I don't know if you guys remember these or not. We're going to put these three little drops in the center, and I'm actually using two little seed beads in between just to kind of space them out a little bit. Now listen, if you need seed beads, Sam's got seed beads. This purple color, I think he's got this exact color too, or something that's very, very close. But you just need two. Okay, so that's going to be the center of our next strand, right? Then our chain part is going to be one of the Czech rounds, one of the fancies, and two of the smaller Czech rounds. And the reason behind that is just so that if I had put another one of the fancy beads here, like one of these, if I put one of those right here, it was a little crowded next to the heishi beads. It just felt like there was just not quite enough space. So that's why I went with one of the smaller Czech glass rounds to sit next to these. But you play around with it and see what works for you, right? All right, so my strand for the other side is almost done. Whoops. So let's add the two beads to it, and then let's wire wrap this center and put all of this together. Okay. All right, so just need 2 eye pins. Hi, Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
Wanda brought coffee and lemon scones. I love lemon scones. I'm going to need you to send that. I'm going to need you to send that my way right now. All right, bending the wire, coming in with my cutter, trimming. Okay, I'm going to roll back. Okay, and one more. I love lemon anything, so Wanda says, ooh, Sarah has Sam sparklies. I do indeed. I do. All right. Okay, so that part of the chain is ready to go. So we've got that for either side. But we're going to wire wrap this little section here. So I'm just going to cut about 4 inches of 22 gauge wire. Probably don't even need that much, to be honest with you. But you could put this on an eye pin if you wanted to. The only reason that I'm using a piece of wire instead of an eye pin for this little section is because it does kind of have a little bit of a U shape. Now you can coax an eye pin into that U shape if you want to. It definitely will do that, but I just find that it's a little bit easier just to use some wire. So I'm going to come down on the wire about 1 inch, and I'm going to give it a bend. All right. And I'm coming in with my round nose pliers, going up and over, rotate, take the wire over to the other side, and then I'm going to wire wrap next to the loop that we just created. So essentially we're making our own eye pin, but with a wrapped loop, right? Okay. And then I'm going to come into my cutter tool. Really, I'm just going to step right into that cutter tool. I'm going to bring in my cutter tool, rather. All right, and then I'm going to put these little brios on. So there's one. I'm going to do a little seed bead. The seed bead is just to help with spacing. Okay. Another brio. And another seed bead. Now I'm only using 3 of these little brios in the center, but you could do like a 5 if you wanted to, you know, you could make it a little bit wider. Right. And then I am kind of coaxing it, right? I mean, you could do that with the eye pin too, but you're going to give it kind of that U shape, just a slight curve, so that those brios all have a nice amount of space. So they're not touching each other, they're not crowding each other out, right? All right, so now I'm going to come in with my chain nose pliers. I'm going to do another wrapped loop over here on the other side. So bending the wire. Ooh, Karen wants to know what I'm going to do with snack shenanigans. Me and Colleen need to start working on looking for snacks.
For sure.
Yep. Because it's been a while, and I think it's time.
I want to eat all the things.
Yeah. Colleen wants to eat all the things. I do too. What are the things going to be, though?
We are open for suggestions.
Oh, yeah. Totally open for suggestions. So if you've got suggestions for snack shenanigans, you guys, Q has never been around for a snack shenanigans. So that means he gets to eat leftovers. Or we can maybe convince him to come in
join
here.
us.
Yeah.
Yes.
He might do one.
Oh.
He's scared about new foods. So
we'll talk him into it.
Yeah, we'll have to talk him into it.
We'll wear him down.
All right, so now we're going to put all of this together. Okay, so as far as the connection point between these two, you could use jump rings there if you want to. I'm just gonna very carefully open up my loop here. Have him participate. Yeah, we'll have to talk him into it. Even if he won't eat everything, he can still be here.
He can be our emotional support.
Exactly. He's so funny because there are some things that like he's never eaten before and some things that like he's never done before. So like Colleen and I were talking about Easter because Easter's this weekend and Q's never dyed Easter eggs. I'm like, yeah, we have to dye Easter eggs. Have to do that. And then my mom and I were like making the menu for what we were going to eat on Sunday. And he was like, y'all like plan for food on Easter? And I'm like, yeah, didn't your grandma ever like make Easter for after church on Sunday? He was like, no, I don't really remember that. And I was like, well, we eat a ham every year. Every year. Without fail. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to open up this larger jump ring. This one's a 10 millimeter. Now remember, I used an 8 millimeter on the pendant. I'm going to use a 10 millimeter here in the center. This one's going to be facing forward. So remember we were talking about loops. Marley Beth had the question about loops and which direction and everything. This is kind of a good example of that, even though these are not loops, the jump rings, because see, this jump ring goes through this pendant facing away from us. And in order for it to hang correctly, the next connection needs to be a front-facing connection. So I'm using this large jump ring here as that. And then I'm going to put my 2 chain ends on. I'm going to close that back. Right? All right. So our 2 strands. Okay. And those are going to come together just like that. I know it's hard to see all of that in one shot, but look how pretty. Is that not pretty?
Gorgeous.
Sparkly, just lovely. All right, so I'm going to put a jump ring on each end of these little chains, okay? And I'm going to attach those to these TierraCast hammered links. These are 19 millimeter hammered rings. And to save time, I have already put like my suede cord through here and then put some cord ends on them. So this is already done for you, but I did want to show you the cord end that I was using. So TierraCast has a lot of cord ends that are great. These are just like, I don't know. I think I got these from a box store. I really don't know. But I kind of like these. I didn't have any TierraCast ones that I thought would match the hammered rings that I had. So I just grabbed these. And I wanted to show you because cord ends come in so many different styles. But I really like this style because you open the flap like that. And then you lay your two pieces in, right, on top of each other. You just lay those in there. And then you push this part down over those. And then you fold over the edges, right? It just makes it really secure. You can add some glue in there if you feel like you need it, but I think these are one of the most secure cord ends that I have found that works really well for flat suede. I don't know that it works as well for round, round shaped cords, but for a flat suede cord or anything else that's flat, I think it works really, really well. Okay, so like I was saying, we're just going to use some jump rings as our transition from our beaded chain onto our hammered links here. Hammered rings or whatever you want to call those. And listen, as far as snack shenanigans goes, if there's something you'd like to see me eat again, I can also do that.
Yeah, because I missed out a lot of those. So.
Yeah, so like Colleen didn't get to eat the 100-year-old egg.
I will eat the egg.
I feel like we need to do that one again.
Yes. I don't want to smell it though.
You know, oddly enough, it didn't smell really bad. It was just the texture of it was just weird because it was like jelly. It was just weird.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Right, Janella said Easter is not Easter without dinner. I know, that's why I was like, I can't believe you guys didn't like do a ham or something on, Sunday afternoon. So he's getting the full on Easter treatment this year. Get a ham and deviled eggs. That's like, those are always things that we have is ham and deviled eggs. And usually the deviled eggs have like, blue and green spots on them because they were the eggs that you dyed. Yeah.
For sure.
This is tradition.
We always have potato salad too.
My mom was saying that too when I was talking to her. She was like, what about potato salad? I was like, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, that's kind of a traditional kind of Easter thing too. I am making some homemade macaroni and cheese though.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Save me some.
Yeah. You just come over here and eat some on Sunday.
I will.
All right, so I've attached these to my my rings, and I just folded over my cord, of course. Now listen, you don't have to do that. You could use chain here. You could use anything else. You could take more beads and bead up a whole necklace. The only reason that I didn't is just because we're saving time, right? I mean, I don't want to keep you guys here all day long. So I opted for the length rather to be something like this, but you absolutely can use whatever you want to. You can take some more of these beautiful beads from Sam's Bead Shop and bead the rest of the necklace up if you want. If you decide to go with the suede, you can take some wire and bundle around so that you can keep your two pieces together. If you want to, you can even tie an overhanded knot. Like, you've got tons of options. This part I didn't find to be nearly as interesting or as important as the front of this necklace, because that's what's just so darn pretty, right? That's where all of the sparkle is. So whatever you do for the length of the necklace, that's totally up to you. I just kind of kept it simple, but that's where we're at. I'm gonna get a bust, y'all, and turn this around. I'm gonna hand me the white one, and thank you, my dear.
Yeah.
All right, lift you guys up a little bit, and then I'm gonna put this on the bust so that you guys can see it. So guys, this went together really, really quickly. This is not a project that takes a whole lot of time, and the results are so nice. They're so nice. How long is the necklace? Well, I'll tell you, this is a really long one, and the reason that this one is a long one is because I used a lot of the suede. So I took 20-inch pieces of suede that I folded in half. So there's a good 10 inches on either side for that. I'll give you the actual measurement here in a minute, but listen, if you need a shorter or a longer necklace, like, that's going to be where you adjust it, is going to be in the length part. So, look how pretty. And the suede that I chose for this I went with kind of like a soft brown. It's so soft that it's almost purple, so that it really kind of meshed really well with those kind of amethyst, or I'm sorry, lavender colored purple beads. But check out our cluster at the bottom, right? Honestly, you could just hang one single bead from this amazing Preciosa pendant and it would be gorgeous. Because I mean that pendant is really like, that's a stunner right there. But yeah, there you go. So let me give you the actual length here. Okay, so 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 26 inches. It's a really long necklace, right? You can see that's a lot of the suede here. So it's quite long. It's obviously it's going to go over my head and it's going to hang pretty low on me. I like mine to hang more like, just personally, I like mine to sit more like up here. So I would probably cut that suede down by about 4 inches. But totally up to you. Hey, look, you know who's here? You guys, you know who's here?
Hi, Sarah.
What are you doing?
I told you we could pop in.
We just got finished, and there you are.
I know, I've been watching. It's been great. I've been getting ready. I was like, oh, maybe I can pop on. Hi, everyone.
Look, Sam, we made a sparkly.
It's so lovely. All the vitriol gorgeousness in that necklace is just giving me the life I need on this Tuesday morning.
I know. It's so sparkly and pretty, ready for Easter.
How can you not like walk around and feel like the coolest kid around?
Exactly.
You just look at my necklace.
And then you gotta kind of shimmy a little bit to get that bottom. Yeah. I love it.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You sped through that necklace. You're efficient.
I know. I didn't realize it was going to go by so quickly, but yeah, we went through that project pretty quick.
It's really nice. I love me a cluster, Sarah.
Me too. Too.
I love it. There's multiple types of clusters too.
Yeah.
Like, it's so beautiful. Because I think it's because you can make your beads more dense.
Yeah. Yeah, you really can play around with it. And like the more beads you add to each level, the bigger and more more is always better.
More is always better. I pulled out some jewelry I was working on last night. If you want any bonus jewelry inspiration today.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Let me see if I can flip around this camera. I have my camera all the way up here today. See if this works. All right, there we go. Here's what I was working on last night.
Oh my gosh, that is so pretty.
Make it a little bigger. Let's see if I can hold this up. So I was working from this palette.
Oh, that's pretty.
Citrine and this like mixed moonstones and friends. Some of the highlight, and then these coolest cubes, which I ended up using my entire half strand in this necklace. In between. Let's see, each of these flowers.
I love that idea. Oh, yep.
And it actually kind of, I didn't know if it would quite work, but it works well enough. And I'm curious, I'll have to like wear it to see how these end up laying.
Yeah.
But all these are on head pins.
I love it. Did you wire wrap that bail?
I fell down yes, I tried. I fell down a YouTube rabbit hole last night.
So pretty.
And so this is just take one. I think I might want to like try it again, but it wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
Are you able to zoom in the thingy? I don't know how to do it.
Zoom in the thingy. Let's see here. There we go.
Yeah, okay. You can see the bail a little better. Yeah, I attempted a weave. I tried like 3 different weave patterns as I did it because I couldn't decide which one I wanted.
Yeah.
But it was cool because I usually would just like attach this with like just some wire. So it was fun to experiment a little with something else.
Yeah.
But then there's just some late night beading with the citrine, some of those highlight melons, moonstone. Oh, and I had fun with the clasp too. I used to make all my findings out of wire.
Yeah.
So this one is just
I love it.
wrapped cubes.
Yeah.
Nothing. Essentially, this is just a variation on a wrap loop, folks. This one, the hook is slightly different because you're bending part of the wire back for this portion.
Yeah.
And then it's secured, like the end of that wire is actually hidden inside those coils that kind of keep that together. I don't know if there's a better way to do it, but that's kind of how you've usually done it.
I would love to see you do that, like show us how to do that at some point.
How much time do we have?
We've got like almost 15 minutes.
You want clasp?
Yeah, show us how to do that.
Okay, let's see if we might grab my 18 gauge wire from the couch. I beat on the couch. Hold on. Do you ever just like start beading? You're watching TV and then like 3 hours later, it's like you're like, oh, it is very much evening time.
Yes, I know exactly how that goes.
All right. Yeah, the clasp is not hard. So we'll just do the hook side of things because the other one is just the wrapped loop.
Yeah.
And y'all, I kind of make up the hook a little bit each time. I don't measure anything. So this is an 18 gauge copper wire. And you don't actually need that much. I'm going to do like maybe 8 inches. That'll be plenty. Ooh. Is Colleen there?
She is.
Oh,
she
God.
is. Yeah.
Hi, Sam.
Hi. How are you today?
Lovely.
So good to see you.
Oh, you too.
All right, starting with a nice, easy fold over, and then you have to fight the wire a little bit. This is so. Why am I teaching wire on a Sara Lovecraft stream?
Because I like putting you on the spot.
I'm just like, oh yes, let's this makes
oh
sense.
no, I'm frozen.
Uh-oh. Sarah's not frozen on my end. She'll be back then. All right, so I just basically bring that together as much as I can. And we can go ahead and start with our... Hi, welcome back.
I'm back.
All right, so all we've done is fold it over and then brought it together. And that's going to form the basis of our hook. So we'll just start right there. I'm using round nose, my bail making. Oh no, those are at the office. That's why I wasn't using them last night. A little bit higher than halfway. I usually come in and then just slowly. I guess he theoretically could change. That's not worth it. The bail making is a little bit better because you'll keep it a little bit more even, but you shouldn't notice it too much. So that starts to form the hook. If you want to add that little extra decoration, just bend the tip a little bit. Do you have an occasion you can wear that necklace on, Sarah?
What? Do I have an occasion to put my necklace on?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, probably Sunday because it's Easter. So
It is going to be Easter.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to come back and trim so that my end ends just a little bit past.
Right.
Where I need it. And now is when you can put on your bead. So this is one of these.
I love that you use a bead with this. That makes it awesome.
And it's optional. It's totally optional. I don't remember how I did this because this wire. Oh, you know what I did is I did this with 20 gauge to get it to work.
Oh, yep. That's the thing about that 18 gauge wire. Sometimes it fits and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, that's why. And often the 20 gauge is fine because it's doubled up. So we're gonna, shall we review what we've just done? So 20 gauge will be a little bit easier to use. This is from this. I've had it for years from a bead store near me that closed ages ago. But I still find little spools of wire. All right, try that again. Yeah, I was watching the stream. I was like, And I know I told you, I was like, maybe I can join the stream today for a bit. I was like, this is interesting. I'm watching the stream and I might be on the stream. That's not normal. Because I'm just watching, having fun, listening to you chat, listen to Colleen. What are they whispering about? All right, we're gonna do that again. And now this time we'll actually be able to get the bead onto there. Is Sarah there?
I'm back. I'm sorry. We keep getting frozen and like something's going on with my iPad today. It keeps saying that I'm losing charge, but like I'm plugged into the wall. I don't know what's happening. It's weird.
I'm just like, hello.
I'm here. I'm sorry.
So
I'm
weird.
gonna make you bigger though. Hold on.
Right.
There we go.
We're back to the same point using 20 gauge now. Just one step. Anyone remember where I put down that cube when it didn't fit on the last wire? Was my last one. Oh, here we go. Here's a different one. These are this cool green opal cube that I'm really enjoying.
Yeah, they're so pretty.
There's just a lot going on with them. They kind of have this like grungy quality to them.
They're awesome.
All right, and then to finish out, pretend you're making a wrapped loop. So I like to give myself a good bit of space there.
So Sharon asked how long a piece did you use, but you said at the beginning you don't really measure. You just kind of do.
I don't
measure.
I would tell you say start with about 8 inches. I always have excess wire. I'm not someone who, because I'm using copper, I'm not as worried about like having having waste. Honestly,
Right.
Because I get frustrated if I don't cut myself enough and I have to start over.
Yep.
All right, so here's where you don't want to wrap too much because you're just going to kind of push your bead over and it'll make things annoying. Okay. Oh. Okay. But right now I'm getting recollections to last night's dilemmas. You need enough wire to be able to come complete the wraps on the other side here.
Right.
You have enough here. And this is definitely the trickiest part because just to have enough leverage to do these wraps.
Yeah.
I don't actually like doing these with my hands, but I found the tools to be harder in this scenario. You can temporarily kind of open up your loop a bit to give yourself a bit of space or do the loop later. And so I just do about 3 wraps for decoration, and it'll also help secure my wire. I hear a robot.
While we were frozen, he fell off. He's over on Colleen's desk right now, and he's just kind of wandering around. And he walked off the edge of the desk, and she was like, "No!" He fell in the floor.
Did he figure out that he fell?
Well, so and he was not happy. He's like
flames.
Yeah, flames in his eyes, kicking his little legs.
Because he thinks you threw him.
He does think that I threw him for sure. Because like he normally knows like where the edge of things is, but he's not really used to that desk. So yeah, he just walked right off the edge, right onto the floor. That's awesome, Sam. That might be my new favorite clasp ever. I'm gonna have to use that. Like I will totally give you credit though. I love that. Love it. And I love it. It's a bead. That's awesome.
And that's kind of its nice. And then you can match it so easily.
Yeah.
And then folks, the other side won't feel any different to you. Other than you just need to make one of your loops bigger. So I just usually come to the back of my round nose to do one side of it. And that's usually plenty big.
Yeah.
See how that's like plenty. And it's literally just then from there, exactly the same as Sarah has shown so many times. I've been a fan of 3 wraps these days.
Yeah.
Because I like the look of the nice coils.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you can kind of get them tight. Yeah, there's a little bonus inspiration after Sarah just made that whole gorgeous necklace.
Yeah, I want to go back and like make my own clasp for it now. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, what class did you put on that one? I don't think I
So
caught
I
that.
just put like a standard lobster because I wasn't really, I was like more focused on the beady goodness in the front. So I tend to just do clasps as like an afterthought. I never really kind of go for something really pretty unless it's a bracelet, but now you've totally inspired me.
And so like now I've like, if I'm doing this, I want them to match, but I still lost that cube. Sad day. That's okay. Use a different bead. Yeah. And then this is where I often I think you like to do a lot of jump rings, right? Connected to your strung pieces. Like you'll put a jump ring into the loop of your necklace. Way back when I got in the habit of just like connecting things directly to the clasp.
Yep.
Oh my God, don't look at my crimp job. It was so
You're so funny.
I also sometimes like a little bit of looseness. So like throughout a long piece that kind of gets hidden, that extra bit of wire. But anyway, I got in the habit of crimping it right to my clasp. So in that case, you do need to make sure you prep your clasp first or slip it onto the loop before it's too late. But then this side, just do a normal size loop. And you have...
I love it. I love it. Now listen, I just want to go ahead and tell you, like, my iPad is sitting at 3%, even though it has the little charging lightning bolt going through it. So if I disappear, that's why. It really shouldn't kick me off, but in case it does.
If you get kicked off, I will tell everyone to go sign up for Hardwired. Now is the time, right?
Exactly.
All right, and there we go. Done and done. Prep these too, but what's kind of nice about using the beads is you just use the beads.
Yeah, I love that so much. That's brilliant and beautiful. It's just, I love it. And it's simple. It's not crazy complicated. It's really cool.
Sarah. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for showing that to us. That's awesome. I'm
way too large right now. Thank you.
I know, I like it when you're big like that. Yeah, Susie says I need a new charging cord. I do. I need a new cable for sure. Yep. Gonna have to go find one really quickly because I got another live.
Oh yeah, you do.
I do. Hardwired, we're meeting together at 4 p.m. and hopefully I'll be nice and charged up by then so we won't have to worry about it. But so Sam, tell us all the things in case I get kicked off here.
Oh, absolutely. So obviously you need to go, everyone needs to go support Sarah, do all the things, subscribe to Sarah's YouTube channel, check out check out Sara Lovecraft Designs community. Yes. There's a lot of words. I think that's the full name of it.
That's it.
Sara Lovecraft community. Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
And then once you're like, dang, I'm hooked on the Sara Lovecraft world, then you can go sign up for Hardwired, which is Sarah's paid learning group where you get a bonus project each week and some extra hang time with Sarah.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun. Danielle and I hang out there, and sometimes you see Meredith pop in. It's very fun.
Yes.
And then on the Sam's Bead Shop side of things, we have our live sale tonight, which I'm sure Sarah's already told you about. That's at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. So I always say those 2 times because if you're in the middle, usually you do the math from one of those.
Yep.
And I'll mess it up. And so 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. It'll be beads that you like. This is kind of the palette for tonight.
So pretty.
So like all the citrine and where's my clasp?
And moonstone. There's moonstone in the sale tonight.
The mixed moonstones, those colorful moonstones,
so
and the
pretty.
cubes, all those goodies. And then even these Kambaba Jasper pendants as well.
So pretty.
As well as the Tucson kit extras I finally listed. So that's why I used the flowers here. Those were from the Tucson kit, the bell flowers. So lots of cool things coming up tonight. If you want like the crystals and things that Sarah showed today, those are all already on the Sam's Bead Shop website, so you don't have to wait for those. Just go to samsbeadshop.com and Rachel put those on the top of the homepage, so they're super easy to find. Other than that, you can subscribe to Sam's Bead Shop's YouTube channel, and we have an email and text list if you go to joinsamsbeadshop.com. I think that's about it.
Sounds like it. You took care of all the things. Look at you.
I tried.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It was a fun project. Sam, I'm glad you got to join us here at the end. That was
Thanks for having me.
extra special, y'all.
Is there a dog behind you?
Yeah, that's Cooper. He usually hangs with me in here. The rest of the crew, the rest of the pack is out in the hallway, but he's Mama's boy, so he usually is in here with me. Yeah.
Cutie pie. Hi and bye, Colleen.
Hey, stick your head over here and say hey. People are like, Colleen doesn't really exist. Colleen. Oh!
Hi, Colleen.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, your hair is so fabulous.
Right, she has amazing hair, and it's so long.
It's so long.
Cooper.
Is Colleen packing orders today?
She's done. She's done. She packed orders while I was putting my face on. It was like a magic. Done.
Wow.
Yeah.
People are gonna get their kits very quickly this week.
I know. All right. Well, I guess I hate to say goodbye. I feel like you just got here, but
I tried. I was just like, oh, gotta get ready.
All right. Well, everybody, have an amazing rest of your afternoon. Thanks for joining us and letting us be a part of your Tuesday. I almost said Monday. Thank goodness it's Tuesday. And I will see Hardwired at 4. Everybody else be at the sale tonight over on Sam's Speed Shop. And then we'll see you guys again on Friday. All right?
Yay.
All right. Bye, everybody. Love you guys.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Colleen.
Bye.